Hey guys, hopefully you can see me. Welcome to the sip and share. I have you guys put in like the weirdest spot. You're in a toy cubby in the kids' room because this is the quiet area of the house today, kind of. The washing machine's going in the next room, so you might be able to hear that. If you can hear a weird whirring, I apologize. Glancing over to see somebody's been artistic on the wall. Super. Alright. It is the middle of the afternoon. I am having a Irish breakfast tea. I just need something a little bit stronger because it's just a day. It's just a bit of a longer day. We've got appointments. I'm going out tonight. It's just a little bit of a busier one, and I'm tired. I'm not even tired. That's not true. I'm not sleepy tired. I'm just, when you get kind of like life tired. I feel like I'm life tired right now. Alright, I didn't exactly have the biggest plan of what I wanted to talk to you guys today for this sip and share. But then I got thinking, and first I was like, I've had some requests to talk about parenting stuff. Maybe I'll talk about parenting, and I've just been spending the afternoon kind of reflecting on parenting and where I'm at and where I feel I'm at in parenting right now and how I feel I'm doing. And then it made me realize something that, let's backtrack for a second. It made me realize that I'm not super proud of my parenting right now because I feel like I'm walking that fine line of being burnt out in life. I think it's just been a really, really long winter. You guys have heard me talk about that a ton, but that's because 8 weeks of minus 35 will do that to you. It's just been brutal, which definitely contributes because we're stuck in the house all the time and we can't really go anywhere, and even if you're not stuck at your house, you're still stuck indoors somewhere, and it just, for people who crave nature, it's hard. And so I feel like that's definitely made me not the mom I necessarily want to be, because I feel like I can't necessarily get away to rejuvenate as easily as I could when the weather is a little warmer. There's no stepping outside to have a tea on the deck, you know what I mean? Less opportunity for rejuvenation, which has also made me, so as I was thinking about parenting and where I feel like I'm at, I feel like I'm not doing a crap job, but I feel like I definitely am not at my what I would consider myself being ace mom. I'm not there right now. But it made me think that maybe this shouldn't be a parenting talk, because it's not that I've been it's not that I am not being the mom I want to be, or it's not that I'm having these parenting troubles because of the kids or because of a parenting issue in general. I definitely think it comes down to self-care. And as I was thinking, it just made me realize that a lot of our problems come down to self-care, and then it made me think about self-care in general. This word gets thrown around so much, especially nowadays, especially on social media. Everybody's self-care, 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 and the word has kind of gotten slightly annoying, right? So, but also I feel like the meaning of the word self-care has changed, and it's become almost a little fluffy, or maybe a little bit superficial. And I feel like maybe we've forgotten a little bit, some of us, what self-care really looks like. And obviously, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say this is what your self-care should look like. Guys, you should know me by now. It's not my style. So if it comes across that way, it's definitely not intended. And self-care is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. But I feel like we're using things like slipping away for a coffee or eating a chocolate bar to be self-care. And of course those things can be, but I think we've forgotten that we're not actually taking care of ourselves when we're just doing the more frivolous self-care, what self-care has become things. Does this make sense? Bear with me for a second. Let me just talk this out. Self-care is not always comfortable. in my opinion. I really don't think that self-care is always supposed to be this luxuriously feeling comfortable time where you're in white cotton with a face mask on, drinking your favorite drink, and like, self-care. That can be self-care, totally. But I really don't think it's frequent self-care. For me, because I like to try and talk about only what I know, so I'm just going to talk about it from my perspective and from me and what's self-care for me. And when I speak about self-care being uncomfortable, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I know working out is self-care for me. I am taking care of my body. I am taking care of my mental health, because we all know the mental health benefits of working out. And the body benefits and eating right and all that kind of stuff. This is just like one section I'm using as an example. I know that is self-care. I know for me, that is self-care. Taking care of myself so I can be here for my kids, so I can be a better mom, so I can go further, so I can be happier, so I don't fall into depressive pits as easily. Sorry, I just had a kid come in to show me Pokemon. True life. Anyway, that is self-care to me. And it is not comfortable. I don't always enjoy doing it. And when I say that, like, because I'm always somebody who's like, find something, especially in the workout topic, I'm like, find something you really like, because you shouldn't be like forcing yourself. It shouldn't feel like a horrible chore. And that's not what I mean when I say like it's uncomfortable and I don't necessarily like it. I'm lazy a lot of the times, and it's so easy for me to be like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. How can I possibly fit that into my day when I can, I come up with all these excuses, and it's uncomfortable. And especially now that I haven't been working out as regularly as I like to, and I have in the past, which I know if I like get to a certain amount of, like, if I get to a certain momentum, then it's more comfortable for me and it's like easy. But I'm in that not easy spot right now, so it's uncomfortable, and I have to make myself do it, and I feel a million times better for it afterwards. But this is an example where I mean, like, self-care isn't always some comfortable, luxurious thing. Doing that for myself is self-care. I also do things like, my nighttime routine is self-care. Just stuff like taking care of yourself. And I feel like that is the big reason that I've been struggling lately, is because my balance is a little bit off. To be fair, it's not just me. There's a lot of circumstances that are happening around me. Like, my husband was working so much last week, and he works a lot of overtime hours, and so that definitely affects me. Not really having a babysitter definitely affects us, because we can't really get out, and that stuff recharges me. I feel like I need the babysitter and the nights out more than my husband does. We love them, both of us, equally. And we switch off where we do get like nights out where he'll stay home and I'll go out, or I'll stay home and he'll go out. But just being completely consumed in motherhood for the past couple of weeks, and being like just the one that's here, and we're stuck in the house, and I feel like that is more so been what has been a struggle for me, and I feel like I'm creating more problems in my parenting than would normally be here if I was practicing better self-care, proper self-care. Because I practice the frou-frou self-care. I'll have a bath at night when the kids go to bed, like I'll have a tea, and that is self-care, but at the same time, like, it's not necessarily giving me space or creating air in my everyday life, if that makes sense. Whereas if I was really dedicating my time and making sure that I am working out every day and practicing yoga every day and meditating, it's like when people who wake up 30 minutes to an hour before their kids, and they make sure they do that. Is that comfortable? No, especially not at first. Eventually you get used to it, but sometimes you're tired and you don't want to get up and you just want to hit snooze. But that is uncomfortable self-care that's going to ultimately help them if that's like a thing that you enjoy and you like to do. Do you know what I mean by that? That was like a lot of alphabet soup there in my mouth. But there are definitely big components of self-care that are slightly uncomfortable, and I feel like we tend to brush over them in order to do the frou-frou stuff, call it self-care, to make ourselves feel better that we're actually taking care of ourselves, when in reality maybe we're not taking care of ourselves as best as we should or could be. You feel me? So although taking this tea to sit down and talk to you I might be like, that was some self-care. This is not self-care because I'm sitting here having an active conversation. My brain is going and it's on, and this is not work for me, but it's more of like a job I have to check off, if that makes sense. Like, to me, it feels like that in my day. It's definitely like a checklist item, which is not necessarily self-care. Self-care could be making sure you're eating 3 meals a day and snacks and making sure they're healthy and not eating the leftover crust on your toddler's plate. I see you, moms. I know you. I've been you, and I see you. Feed yourself, right? That's self-care. Taking the time to make yourself a separate plate, and that's just as nutritious as all the things you're trying to cram into your children's mouth. And I feel like moms are kind of forgetting that, or it's being lost. Something's happening where that stuff is becoming less important than the frou-frou gimmicky self-care. So some of the things, I'm going to reflect for a second, and some of the things I do in my day-to-day life to care for myself and things I'm continuously working on right now, like I'm in the middle of working on and developing better habits would definitely, like I talked about before, working out, yoga, meditation. Those 3 separate things are definitely big for me. My nighttime, like skincare and nighttime routine. Developing a nighttime routine and sticking to it and making myself do that even when I just want to go to sleep. Like taking off my makeup, washing my face, putting on my face serum, putting on my toner, like jade rolling my face. Those are all part of my self-care routines. Trying to turn off my phone and all technology by like 9 o'clock at night so that I can just wind down, or 10 o'clock at night even, depending on what time I'm feeling like going to bed. Speaking of, trying to put myself to bed at the same time or a similar time every night, because I feel like it's less important to go to bed at a certain time than it is to be getting up at a certain time. That's another thing I'm working on, getting up at the exact same time every single day, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter what the day before was like, because I feel so useless and lethargic when I don't wake up at the same time. I'm an early bird at heart, and my body doesn't want to be an early bird right now. So I'm like, oh no, 8 o'clock sounds so much better than 6, but I need 6. So like doing things at night to wind myself down, like don't get myself worked up on social media or anything, and read my damn books that I've got sitting there in my giant bedside table stack that I bought that are waiting and unread and beautiful. Taking the time to read those. These are the kinds of things I'm talking about that are like really good self-care. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's just so common now to do some frou-frou thing, take a picture of it and be like, self-care! When it's like, is that really self-care? Are you really taking care of yourself right now? Is this really benefiting you? It's simple things, like just taking the time to brush your teeth for the full amount of recommended time and then flossing after, and just taking care of yourself. Eating nutritious meals, not just feeding the kids good meals and then you finding some random junk food in the cupboard when you've realized that you haven't eaten in 6 hours. I haven't done that at all. Not me. But it's things like that just matter so much. Yeah, getting out with a friend and catching up, but like for those who are like me and really empathetic and really givers with your time. And sorry you guys, I don't know what happened, but my video totally stopped filming and I thought maybe I lost the whole thing, but it's there, so I'm just gonna pick up where I just left off, where I was talking about friends. And all I mean by this is, like, for me, I have like a very large, diverse group of friends. So I definitely have some friends where I feel 100% comfortable being myself around, and I feel 100% comfortable, like, having a bad day if I'm having a bad day with them. Like, I feel like I could just, like, let loose more so. So that just becomes a really important piece of self-care too, because I feel like there are definitely times where I'm giving more of myself away than I am necessarily, like, rejuvenating when I go out with some friends. And it's not to say that, like, any of them are bad or I don't want to hear anybody else's problems or anything like that. It's like definitely, like, it just, when you meet with a lot of people and a lot of different personalities and everything, sometimes it can definitely, I definitely give more of myself away than I have to give sometimes. And so it's really important for me to make sure I'm meeting up with the people who fill me up as well. And I, of course, I get filled up by like all my friendships, but like they're definitely, you guys, what do you mean? I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's just that there's definitely some friendships that I've just had for longer that definitely fill me up in a different way, or like we're really, really close on different levels. And yeah, anyway, that really helps me. So I'm just gonna wrap up this video by saying I hope you know what I'm getting at with this whole fake self-care versus actual self-care. It's something I'm definitely working on, and I know that I need to work on it a little bit more this week, and that's what I'm trying to do. So if you practice self-care, I want you to tell me what your favorite forms, or your most valuable, let's not call them favorite because self-care isn't always comfortable. What are your most valuable forms of self-care that you practice? Do you practice frou-frou self-care, or are you practicing like the real work self-care? Have you noticed this difference, this kind of unbalance in the world and the word of self-care? I feel like when sometimes we talk about something more and more and more, especially on the internet, and things get bigger, things get trending, they kind of lose the authenticity and the value, or they can. And I feel like that's definitely happened with the topic of self-care. So, are you practicing self-care for yourself and encouraging that in others? Because that's so important to me, is making sure my kids see me practicing self-care so that they know that that's a normal, very, very valuable, important thing to do in their own lives. But anyways, let's have this conversation below. Let me know what you do for self-care. Maybe you weren't doing any self-care and this has kind of made a light bulb go off in you. I kind of just wanted to talk about this today. I just felt pulled to talk about this today. So if there's somebody out there that this conversation has helped in any way, then maybe this was meant for you. But anyways, talk to me down below. Let me know what's going on with you guys. Do you practice self-care? What are your most valuable forms of self-care? Do you not practice at all and need to start? Let's chat about it. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I am working on putting up some more videos for you guys, doing a little bit of catch-up posting. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you guys in my next video. Have a lovely week. Take care of yourselves, you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Look at this. I caught it.
Pretty cool.
I just caught it.
Okay, I'm filming a video. Can I see it after? Okay, love you. And Luna, stop. Luna.